Hey everyone, my name is Matt and welcome back to the channel, and there is some very bad news for the House of Mouse. Things are not looking too good for them, especially when it comes to Disney+. Now, before I dive into the article, if you could, please smash that like button, share the video out. All that helps me very, very much and helps the channel on my road to 2,000 subscribers. I would greatly appreciate it. But getting into the article, states here, Disney+ sheds 4 million subscribers in its second straight quarterly drop. This is not good for Disney, especially when it comes to Disney+. And ironically, they put a giant picture of the Mandalorian and Grogu, which I think attributed to a lot of this. But before I assume here, let's dive into the article and read a little bit. So it says here, Disney Plus sheds another 4 million subscribers in the first 3 months of the 2023 year, marking the streamer's second consecutive quarterly drop after closing 2022. Now, it says on the bright side, they're trying to spin this as if this is a positive, which, most of this is propaganda, so it's not that shocking that they're doing this, but it says on the bright side, the Mouse House also managed to narrow its streaming business losses by $400 million. I'm sorry, you're still losing massive amounts of money, and the article goes into detail as to where they are doing that. So it says on Wednesday, CEO Bob Iger beat Wall Street estimates for Disney's quarterly earnings and revenue due to an impressive January through March showing at the company's theme parks. Now, this is the only thing that is keeping this company afloat. If it were not for the parks, they would be 100% done and over with already. The parks are the only thing that are successful. And honestly, I think a lot of us are just at this point wondering, when are they going to start getting affected? Because we see what's going on with the world right now. We see what's going on with the economy. Things are starting to get tighter across the board for literally everybody. Companies, ad revenue, all that stuff is starting to dwindle. People don't have as much money as they used to. Things are more expensive. Inflation is through the roof. Most people cannot afford to go here and spend their money. And if they are going to spend money on entertainment, they're going to do it with companies that they agree with. If you think about what's going on, as the article says here, they've been plagued by company-wide layoffs. We have the writer's strike going on, and now it says here the turf war with Florida Governor Rick DeSantis, which obviously that they mean Ron DeSantis. Maybe they got Ron DeSantis and Rick Sanchez confused. I don't know. But again, this is not good for the company in any way, shape, or form. Whenever you have a company doing massive layoffs, that means they're in trouble. So it says here, Disney ended the quarter with 157.8 million subscribers, significantly missing Wall Street's estimates of 163 million. This second sub drop was driven by 4.6 million sequential decline at the Disney Plus Hotstar, which is the version of the service offered in India and parts of Southeast Asia. In US and Canada, Disney lost about 300,000 subs, but it looks like Hulu gained 200,000 in the quarter, and ESPN increased by 400,000. Now, interestingly, they did release this past Wednesday that Hulu's content will be introduced onto Disney+, calling it the One App Experience. That is going to significantly affect numbers going forward, because we've always seen that where they can play with the numbers. Well, Disney Plus lost numbers, Hulu added numbers, they own it. Well, that's not going to be a thing moving forward. Everything's coming under one giant umbrella, and we're not going to have to mess with these numbers going forward. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. It doesn't look that great for Disney Plus moving forward when it comes to content. So it says CFO Christine McCarthy announced that Disney is in the process of reviewing the content on our DTC services to align with the strategic changes in our approach to content curation, and will, quote, be removing certain content from our streaming platform. Disney expects to write down in Q3 of $1.5 to $1.8 billion from removing the content. Now, I understand they're trying to do that to save money, but anytime you're removing content is not a good thing. When you are taking things away that people want to watch, listen, that's why a lot of people say, buy physical media. Screw these apps, go buy the freaking Blu-rays or something. It also says here that going forward, we intend to produce lower volumes of content in alignment with its strategic shift, which means they're not going to be spending as much money on content, they're not going to be producing as much, and they're not going to have anything new for you to watch, which honestly, look what we've already seen them come out with. Things like She-Hulk, things like The Mandalorian that are just not being received by audiences because the production value has decreased. They don't know what they're doing with their IPs. They have horrible writers. It's garbage. Disney cannot afford to spend massive amounts of money on garbage content anymore. It continues to say Disney posted negative free cash flow of $168 million for the quarter. So I thought this was worth mentioning too because I think it's absolutely hilarious. Content for sales, licensing, and other revenue, which includes box office revenue, did increase 18% to $2.2 billion and saw an operating loss of $50 million, down from an increase of $16 million year over year. So, this is the funny part. The improvement at the theatrical distribution was due to the continued success of Avatar: The Way of the Water, which was released in the first quarter and partially offset by the comparison to co-production income to the prior year's quarter from Marvel's Spider-Man: No Way Home. So the only two movies that really attributed to an increase in any revenue at the box office was Spider-Man: No Way Home, which they shared that revenue with Sony, and Avatar: The Way of the Water. All the other Marvel movies basically didn't do anything for them. As we've said time and time again, these movies are not helping them make money. They're maybe breaking even or they're barely squeaking by. For them to break even with these movies is not a win. They have to make money on them, and they're not. They are losing money time and time again. None of this is good for Disney to hear. This is bad news, even though they're trying to spin this as a positive. The Mandalorian crapped the bed. People don't like it. Normies are checking out. The Marvel content out there is just not as good as it was. People are checking out. The normies are done. Superhero fatigue is definitely around because the content is just garbage. But let me know what you guys think about this. I find this very interesting, and I'm interested to see what happens next and to see how bad things get before maybe it gets better, if better at all. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I always love to hear your thoughts. If you liked the video, hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, take care.